I think one of your most famous calls is, of course, I said I'd come back to Foley, right? By God, he killed him coming off the Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
Now, I think I've heard you speak about this before, where you weren't totally sure what was going to happen in that match, right? Which is fairly unusual, right? You didn't know that Undertaker was going to throw him. Am I right in thinking that?
No,
Right?
I didn't know they were going to go on top of the cage. I do my best work, Alex, if I am not given too much information about the match.
Mm.
It'd be like if I was doing a rebroadcast of Fulham, Tony Khan's team, his soccer team, his football team. If I did a rebroadcast of it, of a game that had already been played, I wouldn't want to know the outcome because you don't respond organically or naturally. So for me, I always thought I did a better job of commentating a wrestling match by knowing less than some other announcers. I know some announcers that want to know every move the guys are going to make, and I never did that. I never wanted to know that. It took away the spontaneity, and so yeah, I didn't know Foley. I didn't know they were going to do off the cell. I didn't know they were even going to go up there. So everything you heard from me was a very natural, real, organic feeling that I I talked about. So anyway, that was quite a night. I still get people talk about it. That was happening in 1998.
Nice.
I can only imagine how old you were in 1998.
10.
There you go.
Yeah, I just started watching wrestling, funnily enough. Man, what a wild time to think about now. But I mean, if for you as well, speaking of calls like that, are there any more that come to mind where you were really kind of taken aback? And because you do your best work under that kind of pressure, right? But at the same time, you've got things you got to navigate. I don't know, is Vince saying things to you at that point as well? One has to think he's probably busy while Mick Foley's getting thrown off a cell, but who knows? Are there any others that strike your memory?
Nothing. So many great matches because we had all these guys that were phenomenal at what they did. Rock and Austin had 3 main events, singles matches at WrestleMania, 15, 17, and 19. And I never knew what the outcomes were going to be. I had a general idea.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that at WrestleMania 19, because Steve had told me in confidence that it was his last match. He also told Vince the night before. We visited him in the hospital because he dehydrated, and it really put that match in question. He and Rock at their third match there at WrestleMania 19. But I didn't know the A, B, C's of the match. I kind of knew the general direction we were going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I did a better job if I didn't have it memorized. This takes away the spontaneity, as I said, and the realism of it. So those 3 matches are always exciting. When you look back and you don't know the finishes, and you don't know what all's is supposedly scheduled to take place, all of them kind of start standing out because I wasn't preconditioned to any of it, because I didn't want to know a finish and not agree with it at that early.
Yeah.
Because I thought it might affect my enthusiasm in a subtle way or whatever, inadvertently affect my enthusiasm. So I've never been a party to, or a prisoner to needing to know that much info. So it's but I mean, so many great. I call the first War Games.
Mm.
That was an adventure. Those Hell in a Cell matches were all new. They were new inventions. They were new creations. So those were all exciting because they were unpredictable. I think Shawn Michaels, one of his greatest matches ever, was the Hell in a Cell he had with the Undertaker.
First one, yeah, for sure.
Because it had no precedent. So anyhow, so many guys have made a mark on my career, and I just got so lucky. Came along with a great time with amazing talent, and in the biggest environment, amazing talents do amazing things. That's what they're paid to do, and I don't think I didn't remind talent of that. You're making $1 million or more a year, and you're in the main event. This is what you're here to do. You're here to close the show. I remember one time having a hell of an argument with Eddie Guerrero because on a pay-per-view that he was put on the on first. He was pissed, and I had to go have a talk with him before the show. You know, gosh, more drama.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you got to understand, Eddie, trends are changing, and it's not like we're starting here and we're going to build to the big crescendo in the main event. It's got to start off with something huge, and we got to set the precedent for the show. And the people that follow you leading into that main event have to have something to follow that's challenging. I said, what you're going to do tonight is you're going to go out there. You may have a chip on your shoulder. And you may be pissed at me when you leave here, but you're going to go out there and steal the show. Then I want you to walk back through the gorilla position and survey the landscape and basically say, follow this, fellas. Just follow this. And he got it. And so, you know, and he told guys that story, and they all, if they were a top star and they go on first, they got it. I know why I'm here. I'm valued. It's the second most important match of a pay-per-view, the first match. So and we changed that theory, that thinking to make it that way. So but it was an amazing run for me, Alex. I had so many great talents to work with. A lot of heartbreak, you know, the Benoit stuff, Eddie, Pillman. You know, I'm so happy that Brian's son, Brian Jr., is working for us now in AEW. I think he's going to be a keeper. I think he has the potential to be a player. And I know that would just elate the hell of his dad. I told him the other day, I said, you know, you have a lot of your dad's great traits: competitiveness, athletic, driven. But there are other habits your dad had that I don't want you to experience. Don't be foolish. Learn from mistakes of others. And thus far, he's been ideal, been pristine with his decorum and his professionalism. So little Brian has got a chance to be good, really good.
Yeah, I've spoken to him. Big fan of what he's been doing, especially down in MLW, coming into AEW now. You know, I mean, just to cap that off, I remember the old Stone Cold. That segment is a great one as well from you. You said Benoit, actually. You called that magnificently, the WrestleMania 20, the Odyssey to the title. Of course, it's not as celebrated as people would like now. We all know why. But well, thank you so much, Jim. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed getting a chance to chat with the legend himself, JR. Thank you once again, man. Studio sessions, coming to ad-free shows. Remember, guys, get hold of that. All of the JR's famous chats with a lot of famous names from yesteryear in wrestling, man. I bet that's going to be a great trip down memory lane. JR, thank you once again for your time tonight.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you, buddy. And best of luck on your career.